Social dynamic experts such as Jordan Peterson and Ben Shapiro have been wanting to talk about the topics surrounding the dysfunctions of black people and our psychology. The reason why they haven't talked about it is because they're afraid of being called racist by the wokest mob. If they do, they will be attacked by the greater society and they will be called racist because you're not allowed to talk about black people and you need to be sensitive towards their culture. So nonetheless, I'll talk about it. I'm black. Can't call me racist, right? I'll talk about it. So in this video, I want to talk about the attraction triggers of the black female. Listen, every other group of females on this planet, namely Caucasian women, Asian women, Indian women, Arab women, Middle Eastern women, have evolved their mating strategy to fit the 21st century society. When they look for a man, they look for attraction triggers that indicate compatibility in a man. They look for a man who is financially stable, a man who has some sense about himself, a man who's productive, a man who's successful, a man who's father material, a man who's husband material. They look for traits in a man that will guarantee their long-term survival for them and their offspring. But unfortunately with black women, because so many black women were raised by single mothers, they have never witnessed a healthy display of how a man should be. Their fathers weren't around. Either their fathers weren't there, weren't available, or their fathers were beta males. See, every woman sees a man either as an alpha male or as a beta male. Most black women were raised by single mothers. They didn't have their fathers in their lives. So as such, they have never witnessed how they should be as a woman in relation to a man. So they grow up, end up as they reach their adulthood, when they find a partner, they don't look for healthy indicators of attraction, such as a man that has a stable job, a man that has some sense about himself. No, they look for pseudo masculinity traits. Black women are attracted to men that display pseudo masculinity, extreme masculinity. Masculinity in the form of such as guys that are 6 foot, 7 foot tall, guys that are aggressive, guys that are rude, loud, obnoxious, charismatic, funny, guys that are aggressive, guys that are thugs, guys that are criminals. They are only attracted to these extreme versions of masculinity, and they get pregnant by these guys, and since these guys are chaotic, they leave them hanging as single mothers, which is why so many black women today are single mothers. Single mothers produce more single mothers. Chaos and dysfunction breeds more chaos and dysfunction. This is why the black community is in such shambles today. I was rejected, going back to primary school, I was rejected heavily by black women as if I was a disease-carrying fly, because I do not have aggressive traits about me. I have soft features in my face. I did my homework. I was a good boy in primary school, in high school, and to this day. I speak proper English, so I've been told 1,000 times. In the eyes of black women, these healthy traits are considered weak. If you do not have aggressive traits about yourself, if you are not overly loud and aggressive, black women will see you as a weak man, a weak beta male. Unless I start to raise my voice like this. See? Right there. Right there. That was a display of extreme pseudo masculinity. Black women are attracted to that. Black women just saw me do that, and they just got wet down there. They just got turned on. They just got aroused, because black women are attracted by chaos. Black women are attracted by dysfunction. Black women are attracted by men who borderline abuse them. They're not attracted to good men. They see them as nice guys. They see them as weak. As such, I do not date black women. I date non-black women. That's a different story. I digress. Again, the black female's mating strategy is still in its primitive form. And when I say primitive, I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that objectively. Black women still look for attraction triggers that cavemen used to display in the 12th century, in the 5th century, back in the primitive era. If you are a man of means, if you are a productive citizen, if you speak proper English like how I do, like I've been told, if you do not have aggressive masculine traits about you, black women, they will see you as weak. When you approach a black woman, she will look at you up and down, and you're like, what do you want, nigga? Right? But it's funny how with white men, Caucasian men, or let me just say non-black men, they're all sweet and submissive and like, oh hi Daryl, how you doing? And then they blink their eyes. They code switch. They act like white women when they're dealing with other groups of men. But when they're dealing with us, they treat us like beta males. They see us as weak. Unless you are a loud, ruthless, aggressive ruffian. Unless you are a thug. If you're not the Brock Lesnar type of archetype of man, if you're not the Brock Lesnar archetype of an alpha male, black women will not recognize you. You will be invisible to them. Hence why some of us black men have actually started considering dating other groups of women, because they recognize us. They look at our intelligence. They appreciate our intelligence. They appreciate other forms of productivity, other forms of provision we offer, we bring to the table, such as, if you have a stable job, if you have a stable income, if you're a family orientated man, the works. But with black women, it's still very primitive. You have to be like a silverback gorilla pounding his chest and roaring like, oh, look at me, I'm masculine. I wish I was over exaggerating. I am not. But in a nutshell, that's the black female's mating strategy. And then you wonder why so many of them can't seem to keep a man. Because again, because they're raised by single mothers, they've never witnessed a healthy display of how a man should be. They've never been taught how to conduct themselves in relation to a man, in a man to woman dynamic, a healthy dynamic. They've never witnessed that because they've been raised by single mothers. In a nutshell, I could also go in depth, but that's the summary of the black female mating strategy, the truth about black women. Black women are attracted to rough, aggressive thugs. And since I'm not a criminal, ruffian thug, it's just not me. Okay, I'm just your average guy. There's nothing special about me. I'm just your average Joe. Other groups of women find me attractive, right? They look at my intelligence. They look at what I bring to the table. They look at other forms of productivity other than being a silverback roaring gorilla, other than being a testosterone fueled ruffian, right? Thanks for listening. Cheers.